Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 592. Today we'll be playing the Pyromancer and Backpack Battles. And so, it's a new week, a fresh week, no patch in Backpack Battles this week, no changes to the existing items, but we're still rolling over to the new class. We'll be playing the Pyromancer over the course of the next week, see if we can't rank our way up a bit through Diamond. And so, let's dive on in, see if we get something cool together, see if we have a fun build today. And what do we have here? We have a wolf badge on sale. And so I'm always interested in these wolf badges as that, the cheese is kind of a decent item for the pyromancer. Like whenever I see one of these other class items, I typically just look at it in the sense of, I just want to go for food, right? Because it doesn't take as much to build around as far as it goes with food. But the berserker one's kind of interesting in the sense that if you get the berserker hammer, that's what opens up a lot of the upgrades for all of the other berserker based items. And so there's an interesting space there. The other thing is I still feel like mana is quite good within this patch, and then just having your way to look at the berserker and then maybe come and pick up the spiked staff. It's just another powerful item that we could get within this battle, and so I'm kind of interested in perhaps going after the spiked staff or going after the cheese or seeing what happens there. So let's pick up the wolf badge, see how that goes. The other thing I wanted to call out is I've been pretty happy with the pyromancer in this patch in the early game, trying to pick up a lump of coal, making a torch, and then making a burning torch. It does a lot in terms of just ensuring you have a good early game weapon. And getting to kick that off here with this lump of coal feels kind of nice to me. So we're going to just go ahead, pick up everything within this shop, see if we can't get to do something fun, get to do something exciting with this one. All right, off to battle we go. So what do we got here? Goobert? I don't know. I don't know how we can handle a Goobert. It's an interesting build from the opponent. They sold off their initial weapon to get this going. It looked like we got them down to like 3 health, and then they spiked the heal right at the end. It's like it's going to be very RNG centric if we can finish this one off. And I feel like he was going to have just enough there. I thought with his stamina running out, we may be able to get the finish, but just a little bit short. And so, interesting stuff here, right? We have the forging hammer turn up, and, it's a very easy item to just slot in. It doesn't take any stamina to use, and then having it to potentially upgrade some of the items along the way isn't terrible. Now, with that in mind, I don't feel like there's a ton of berserker-based items that we're super interested in as far as the pyromancer goes. Like, I don't really want double axe. I don't really want busted blade, although it is kind of interesting that you can you can just load up the busted blade out here and easily get it upgraded. But otherwise, the chain whip is kind of nice. I do like chain whips, and they're just kind of self-scaling as far as it goes. But the typical upgrade items, the dragon scale skin, the boots, and the dragon's claws, I don't think we super need to chase after. But there's a busted blade. I gotta stop and think of how many ways that we can generate empowered so that we can come out and use this busted blade. I don't think it's gonna be on the table. I think if we look to build any of these weapons, we'll be looking towards the chain whip, as I do think the debuffs are quite good in this patch. Just I will say that as far as the pyromancer goes, I typically just go for mana builds every game and look to build towards the prismatic style of items. I think that's probably the strongest thing you can be doing with pyromancers this patch, and so we'll probably not be doing that game. I'm sure we'll touch on it later in the week, but that's what I typically look for. And so let's try and make something out of the pyromancer. Like, I'm not opposed to trying to get that busted blade going. That would be kind of fun and kind of neat, and so we'll see what we can put together there. But with this, let's pick up the forging hammer, let's pick up the banana, we'll take a roll, see if we can't find a bag. Doesn't turn up. I'm kind of okay with rolling for another bag. We would have to sell a little bit just to get there, but, it's kind of doable, I guess. And so let's go that path. We'll sell off the extra flame here to get as far as we need. The banana's online now. We can still come in, upgrade the torch. And I think we can do something like this. So that looks decent. Well, I guess this was the kind of classic bust mistake where I go out of my way to get the bag and then we just don't have enough. We don't have enough stuff in line for it to get used with, but I think that's okay. Do we want to pick up this leather armor though? It is a an upgrade point for the Berserker. The thing that I'm kind of curious about, and I'm wondering if we should be going for with this as we need something to build around and go towards is, we can jump into Battle Rage very quick with the Pyromancer if we're looking to build towards either the Dark Lantern, which is going to have us start at 50% health, or if we look to add in things like the Phoenix, which I guess the Phoenix doesn't have us lose health. It's the Dark Lantern, which is the big one. And I'm kind of curious if I don't think those work exactly together. I'm not certain how that interaction goes if we drop to half health and then just immediately hit Battle Rage. But let's see if that's a thing. Let's keep that in mind. Let's see if we can't go after this Dark Lantern build with the Pyromancer and maybe just instantly hit Battle Rage in these battles, get a bunch of buffs right at the beginning, and try and pop off like that. It's a thing, right? It could be a thing. Shit. God, that was so close. It was like we both got down to like 4 health, and then his heals kicked in, and we missed. RN Jesus is not blessing us today. But let's see. Yeah, definitely. Let's pick up this leather armor. I'm so curious about this now. I'm wondering if this can be a thing. All right, I do want to make sure we get the banana in the bag. Our 3 items are fine. Otherwise, okay. Can we line this up to where, like, we get all of our weapons in the bag? We don't get that 2 health off of the flame, but all of our weapons and the banana are tied into the wolf badge. Sure. So yeah, how's this gonna go? Getting the dark items and the heal, and trying to just immediately hit Berserker Rage as the Pyromancer. Okay. I'm curious if there's any like healing elements that we can chase after. Like I do kind of like having access to either food as a way to sustain, like you jump down to half health, but then you have the food to bring you back up, or the vampirics, which aren't going to be as likely. And so, we might have cheeses turn up or something. We might have a minor food style theme that we're able to get going with this build. We'll just have to see how that aspect of it plays out. But all right, get the bananas and stuff. Always happy to have a couple of bananas here in the early game. Let's see how these go. I don't think we're gonna get these lined up well with the blueberries. But we can stop there. Let's saw off a flame, get one of these lump of coals up and running. I don't think we want to make another torch. If we are going towards the dark build, I'm not going to really look for dark sabers. I don't get super excited about that. If we're going to look for a dark item, I think I would prefer to just look for the prismatic sword and get the darkness bonuses out of it that way. Like I do like having these dark items with the prismatic sword, since like the corrupted armor counts as holy and dark, and we get double upgrades on the prismatic. And so we'll see if something like that comes together. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. I don't want to have like 1,000 different aspects of this build coming together, but I definitely don't want to have 2 burning torches in this space. So what do we got here? Some kind of hammer build. We pop into Battle Rage. See if that's enough. Doesn't seem like we're doing enough damage to out-sustain this this 2 health regen that he has. I guess he's got 2 health regen and 2 bananas, but definitely just not dealing enough. All right, so how can we upgrade through that? There is the Hungry Blade here, which is, it's not a horrible early game item. Like, if you're going to build towards mana, then the Hungry Blade is spectacular. And like, for all intents and purposes, is what I think you should be doing at the Pyromancer, building towards mana builds. You're very happy to just pick up a Hungry Blade here. But I'm still just going to go deep with this. We'll see if we can't get ourselves into the into the subclass rounds and do this thing with the Wolf Badge. And so I'm going to skip over it. So again, the thing I suspect you should be doing here, picking up the Hungry Blade, probably picking up the blueberries as well, looking to tie into a mana-based build. You could probably just throw away the Wolf Badge at this point if you want, but we're gonna try and do something with the prismatics and with the darks, and so I'm gonna skip over that for the moment. So all right, we got a fanny pack for certain. Now, this is where we have the decision, right? We have the Thorn Whip turning up, and you know, it is a high-powered item as we get to upgrade it to the chain whip. I think it's probably worth coming in and taking at this point. So let's sell off the burning torch. I'm still going to hang on to this wooden sword. If we find ourselves in a spot to where, if we find ourselves in a spot to where we can upgrade to a prismatic sword, we might get rid of the chain whip, but I want to ensure that we have like a high quality item that we can technically take the distance with this kind of build. And so we'll go ahead and add that one in. Now let's see, get to the burning coal up on that. I don't think we're gonna get a decent way to get like the thorn whip and the banana onto the speed bag. Does this line up in any better way? Maybe we would prefer something like this. It's like we don't. I think this will work. It's like we don't need to push a bunch of flames into that main bag. It's nice to have, but not something that we have to do. And then I'm gonna reserve the chili pepper. I do want this for our build a little bit later on. Okay. Well, it's not the world's greatest wolf badge, but it's something, right? And we're getting to upgrade to a better weapon here. I think we'll be fine in this round, as we do get to have a fair amount of sustain and generate a bunch of thorns off of the thorn whip. I think the opponent will struggle to deal with that, and hopefully we can start to turn things around here. All right, so I want the chili pepper, and I love these oil lamps as well. Just give us a little bit of scaling. Definitely need to find some bags, so I'm going to take a roll. I don't care to sell off some of these flames. We're not really going to be building around those in this game. So we'll get this extra fanny pack here. Now we do have double fanny packs for our chain whip at this point. That's starting to look decent to me. How are we going to do this? It's a little awkward. We need to shift it down one space. That starts to look a lot better. And we can have the oil lamp just dumpstering into the chain whip. I dig it. That looks good. Not using too much of these flames is a bit unfortunate, but this kind of is what it is. Just got to find that bag space somewhere. And so that's decent, right? I guess we can do something like this instead. Get the wolf badge actually down and touching the chain whip, then as blueberries just loading up on all of these bananas and stuff. And so this is where, you know, I'm kind of liking this build going, in the sense that if things work like like I'm hoping that they do, with the dark lantern immediately dumpstering us to half health, then we get to stack up all of the armor from the battle rage, and then get all of these chili peppers and stuff just activating super fast and healing us back up. I think, you know, it's a thing. One can dream, one can hope. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if it does work, I like the way that we're taking this. All right, looks like we're just out here getting murdered. we can't sustain enough through all this poison. The single chili pepper is not going to be enough to drain that away. We did just gain a ton of health, though. Maybe we can spike it down at the end. We've got 20-some poison, though. Oh, sick, sick. I think we had no business winning that round, but I'll take it. I'll take it. And okay, a cheese on sale. I'm not upset about that. Let's add it on in. I don't think we want to be taking like cheese gooberts, though. It's a little bit too much. We need to be finding some bags here. So we found a bag. Let's pick up the charcoal as well. I would love to be finding, you know, just a little bit more than we're getting, but it's a start. It's a start. Things are moving and progressing. All right, next round. So what do we got here? Just dude all in on his burning torch. It's a little late for the burning torch, I think. That's why I was, you know, kind of glad to come in and just pick up this chain whip when we did. You know, a very strong mid-game item that it's probably like the best worst late-game item that you can have, or the worst best late-game item that you can have, right? And so it's nice to have at this stage. Oh, had to stop and restart. We'll see if we make it from here. My my new gamer in the world. I was had him like 95% asleep, and then he started wailing, and so we'll see if he's doing better now. See if we got him down for the count. But all right, here we go. So we're going to pick up the Ashbringer. This was what, I'm hoping works with this build to where you lose half your health at the start. Maybe that'll immediately send us into battle rage. And so that's the thing that we're trying to pull off. If it doesn't work, whatever. But I do, at least outside of that, like these food-centric builds with the Dark Lantern. Again, dropping down to half health and then sustaining it back up is a viable strategy. So hopefully that'll be a thing. So let's see what we can do. We got the lantern. I do like these draconic orbs, but it's a little expensive at this point. We might need to take it. It's just picking up the big crits on the chain whip is quite good. But again, like the place where we're lacking right now is just bag space. And so maybe we'll let it go. See if we can't pick up something on sale. At least got a fanny pack. Let's keep going. The impractically large greatsword. If we picked up a gemstone thing along the way to where we could load this up with some items, then maybe, but it's just not in the cards for this battle. So with this, don't really want any of these. Let's take another roll. Well, it's a bag, right? It's a bag. It's not the bag we wanted, but it's a bag. And I'll stack in another lump of coal. Like, I'm not opposed to these, like, getting a bonus 45 armor at the start of battle, just giving us a little bit longer to sustain. So those things are hopefully popping off. Now, I feel like we're getting to the point to where we probably just need to do a full bag rearrange here. And so, I mean, the big things that we're going to be looking for out of this is we want max fanny packs on the chain whip. And so, I mean, I think we can get like 4 or 5 up and running on this thing. So, like, this gets it close. We only have 4, so 4 is as good as we can do. But getting the 4 upgrades on it is fine. And then we have the doubles out here to the right. So we can use the double oil lamp on it, really just go ham with our big bruisery weapon here. Then we're going to want this Dark Lantern out to the left. We'll see what we can do with it as the game progresses as far as getting a dark item to the right goes. And I'm not so super interested in getting those extra items as much as having it give us that half health right at the beginning of the battle. It feels like it's such a weak set of damage and stuff on this, right? I mean, the inflicting 28 debuffs on your opponent is the real deal, but dealing 20 damage with the fire items is not. And so it feels a little bit off kilter to me as far as how these items are set up. I mean, we should probably just, I mean, if we have something turn up to where the Dark Lantern gets to activate, then great. I was thinking we would, come over here and try to line it up to get some fire items going, but I just don't think that's going to be the case anymore. So let's jump back out here, get these foods back up and running. I guess we might get one, right? It looks like as far as things are coming together, we can do one. So that's good, right? That's what it's all going to come down to, is this singular flame activating on the Dark Lantern the way it was meant to be. All right, let's dive on in. I guess that wasn't as much of a rearrange as I expected it to be. So what do we got here? We got we hit the mana based berserker before they got their mana items up. They have both a Pandemonium and a Mana Thirst generating right now, and so hopefully we can take this round down. They'd definitely be a much scarier opponent in the next round. And so another interesting thing here I didn't call out, as we have access to cheese and our opponent does as well. When you have these resurrect things, like with the Dark Lantern and potentially now with the Phoenix, it is interesting with the cheeses giving us the maximum health, because that just ties in more to the resurrects. It doesn't count off of your base health. It counts off of, or I should sound, the reincarnate, right? Counts off of your current health and not your base. And so some big pickups that you can get there. But now with these, I'm pretty certain we want to pick up the Phoenix. These are all pretty good. It is interesting in the sense that, well, I guess two things to call out now is in that battle, we didn't immediately hit Battle Rage. We hit it at some point while we still had armor. I kind of missed where it hit, but the Phoenix should let us drop down below half and then immediately hit Battle Rage. And so I'm kind of interested in that. And otherwise, there is a Corrupted Crystal and a Chili Pepper. A lot of good items for us here. Just another time, though, that we're lacking in bag space. So maybe we do this. Let's pick up the Chili Pepper, pick up the Crystal, lock in the Phoenix, take a roll. This is just gonna be one of these games to where it's 3 slot bags galore and just never finding the 4 slotters that we need to come in and pop off. But I think we can do something like this, get multiple Chili Peppers up and running. Might as well get that Corrupted Crystal in here, right? At least it's doing something. It's not a great item on armors though. We're not really inflicting debuffs with this build. Let's get the damage out here up and running on it. And we'll just put all the burning coals in the armor. I'm okay with that. Now we make better usage of those blueberries as well. Decent rearrange. Okay. And I don't hate what's happening. We got up here a fancy rapier. It's nice coming in and keeping the buffs stripped off of this guy. Nice work, Chain Whip. All right, so let's pick up the Phoenix. Man, we gotta find some bigger bags at some point, right? So we're good to just sell off some of these flames. Like, it doesn't really hurt. And fine to come in and pick up the potion belt at this point. I think we can still hang on to the wooden sword as well. Now, if that prismatic does turn up, the prismatic orb, I think we would rather have the prismatic orb than the chain whip. It's one of those things to where, like, if we find multiple prismatic orbs, it's pretty spectacular, but if we aren't finding them, we don't have a ton of upgrades for it, right? And so it's kind of tough. Trying to think of how amped I am for it. Let's get rid of this forging hammer as well. I don't think we're going to be making any of these other berserker items, right? Dragon Claws is fine, but I don't see us really building it. I'm not going to make a second armor. I'm not going to make Dragon's Boots. We already have our Chain Whip. The weapons are off the table. I think it should be safe to sell at this point. I mean, I wonder if realistically, like, at this point, the only berserker item, well, probably, you have to have Battle Rage for the armor, right? It says during Battle Rage. Yeah, Battle Rage entered, gained 40 armor. During Battle Rage, reduce the damage. So we have to keep the badge if we want to hit the Battle Rages on this thing. Okay. You know, it's like I see the second leather armor out here now, and I'm like, are we regretting what we just did? Do we have regrets on on not picking that thing up? I don't know. I think it's okay. So this is a fire pet. Can we get it in somewhere reasonable? This just takes up so much space between the armor and the Phoenix. Be nice if we could do something like this. Because you have that awkward space with the Phoenix out here. But we gotta get our armor back in as well. Maybe it'll be something like this. We've got the Phoenix in. Got the armor out here. No, that didn't really do what we wanted. I think I'm not upset to have the Phoenix on the speed bag, but I was hoping to have that play out just a little bit better. Yeah, our bags are going to be kind of fucked now. And I wish I had a fast way to figure this out. Right, I was kind of interested in having it set up like this. I mean, I guess that's not terrible. the foods that matter in here and up and running. So I mean that's almost everything. We're a little bit lacking. We've got the cheese wrapped as much as we can. Lost one banana. Fine. I don't love it, but I'm not seeing an immediate better way to go about it. Now we're up against a big battle axe. Alright, so there's our first death. Still surviving, still cruising. Got there with 5 health left and a resurrect left. Okay. Alright, so moving on. Got an on sale Whoopin' Tiger. Happy enough to snatch these things up. I do like these. Just picking up all of the buffs always feels kind of good. Really just need to find more bags at this point, though. Spiked collar, I feel like we have to pick up. So let's see, we got a bag. We're just never gonna make this stuff fit. Alright, so the collar is in. How do we get this Wolfen Tiger in? Right? This is just kind of obnoxious trying to make all of these things fit. Like, I mean, I guess that's about as most of a reasonable spot as I can see for it. We're just starting to, like, lose out on, like, legitimately good food at this point. We're not gonna have any bananas in here. I hope it makes up for our stamina loss enough. Ugh, so brutal not finding any of the bag space. Let's see how this goes. We at least still have the two chili peppers in against a debuff round. Two deaths onto the third. Didn't do enough. Whew, yeah, I don't know what point, like, we just gotta quit rolling for items and just find the bag space that we need, but I don't know, it's been saying, like, all I need over and over and over again is bags, 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 and all that ever turns up are these 2 slots and these 1 slots. Like, I don't know if it's just bad RNG or if we're doing something wrong when this kind of thing happens. But here we got a potion belt. I'm gonna want this on sale Shield of Valor, but I want to take another roll and see if we can't find another bag in here. Of course. Of course we can't. I don't know what I was expecting in terms of having them turn up, but just getting savaged by these things. All right. Well, I think I'm happy enough with some of these locations. Let's get some of these other foods back in. 1 banana, 1 blueberries counts. Reserving the Shield of Valor is good. We don't have to go for the dark items, but I think it's okay. Right, we would ideally have a corrupted armor and a sun shield, but we seem kind of far away from that. Just is what it is, I guess. All right, what do we got here? The makings of a pet build. Okay. Keeping those buffs nice and stripped. I'm curious to see at the end of the day how much damage our Chain Whip is doing compared to the opposing kind of like mid-game style of items, right? Our Chain Whip was up to 39 damage a second. Pretty decent. His other ones are... The Fencing Rapier was pretty close to that. Even getting his buff stripped away. Okay, yeah. I'm trying to think if it comes down to it, if the the prismatic orb actually turns up, if we're willing to just pivot and go for it, but we'll see. All right, so we finally found a 3-slot bag. We found the shield. Let's continue to roll. No bags turn up. There is a cheese in here. I'm kind of tempted to just go ahead and stick with this now. So let's see. That's fine. Let's get this Shield of Valor in here up and running. It's going to let us get some big armor gains off of the Dragon Scale. Then I do want to upgrade it to the Sun Shield. Is there going to be an easy way to get Get those 2 hexes over. Just do it the lazy way. All right, well, at least maybe that's a little bit better in our top row. Oh, Control Z that. Getting the Phoenix over the 1 hex. Now we can get the chili pepper back in. Okay, we'll lock the banana. I don't think we want any more chili peppers at this point. We're not going to be able to fit the 3 in. All right, next round. What do we got here? There's a dude on Reddit that's been posting like a instant game OTK trying to use a bunch of these prismatic orbs. Looks like we're about to get smashed out of this round by a similar level of the build, and it's one of those things to me. I don't feel like the build's very good. I think it's a trap thing to be chasing after. I think the prismatic orbs are quite good, but like this is a very expensive build to chase after, and it's very bad when it doesn't come together. And so, like, you know, at this point, this guy has seen 3 prismatic orbs to where we've seen 0, and so it's one of those things where I don't think I'm playing the game completely wrong in the sense that there's a way to get the orbs to show up, right? Depending on what you buy, it makes other things turn up. Like, I don't think the game works that way, but you know, if you're going after this build and the orbs don't show up, then it's pretty terrible. And so it's a bummer to get beat up that way, but we're still on. We're still cruising. Let's see what we can do. We got our sun shield. Interested to pick up the Cap of Resilience. It gives us our first dark item of the game. They've been so non-existent up to this point. It's kind of interesting to have it turn up, and so I do want to pick up the cap. Let's pick up the bag as well. I think we can still get the cheese. All right, now let's see if we can't clean this up just a little bit. Okay, so something like that's starting to look a little bit better. Now where are we at? We need to move our corrupted crystal back to the cap. I'm not certain. Like I've moved all of the armors, or moved all of the burning coals onto the armor. We could have left them on the chain whip. I mean, maybe that's the way that we should do it. Is just go for the damage gain instead. I'm not certain which of these is better, but as we're thinking about the sockets, I am going to go ahead and move it back down. And we've got both of our cheeses up and running. Got a single slot up here for a flame left over. Okay. See if we can survive with this last heart for a little bit. Good turn to pick up the helmet running into the crit ranger. Might be too little too late at this point, but if we can, you know, survive that initial salvo, our sustain will hopefully carry us along the way. There was our first death. Doesn't seem like we're dealing nearly enough damage. Might start to sustain through it though. He's getting fatigued out. He's getting stamina down. So nice. Survived that round. And so this is the point, right? We're at the last round before the survival rounds. A win gets us to the survival rounds. A loss gets us dead. I do like to call out at this space that with our build, it doesn't seem like it's really come together, right? I mean, it doesn't feel like we're in the kind of space to where we're just like rocking and rolling through our opponents. And so I would really suggest at this point to just play for this one round, play for this one win. And so seeing something like the Stone Skin Potion sounds good. And like, you know, because I don't think we're going to play the survival rounds. We'll do it just for the purposes of the video, but I think in terms of the game itself, it's just not what we're really looking for. And so here, we do have a stamina sack turn up. Get the Stone Skin Potion in here. We've got 2 gold left. We're never going to get up to the Blood Amulet, but I guess we can get up to a Gloves of Haste. We don't have the bag space to get the Gloves of Haste up and running, though. Is it ever worth it? I doubt it. Let's just roll and see what turns up next. Nothing I'm super interested in. Oh, all right. So is any of this worth moving? Like I don't feel like pushing pushing flames onto the Dark Lantern is really worthwhile. Let's just add the flame in and call it a day. All right. What do we got here? The Molten Ranger coming at us. I hope we're okay. Our Chain Whip being capable of taking away a lot of their thorns, keeping their Flame Whip on the weaker side of things. Seems like we're surviving here, but our stamina is about to get blasted. So he got a res, we got ours a little bit later. And then we took him down at the end of the day. And so, yeah, that's where we're going to call it. I'm just going to take the win and quit. I don't really see us being able to successfully win any of those 3 rounds of the upcoming game, especially as the barrier for entry in the survival rounds is much higher here. And so, with this build, I'm not, pleased with how it came together. But at the end of the day, like, the concept is fine, I think, right? Just having I like the idea with the Dark Lantern taking away half of your health and then having the foods to come in and build it back up. The question is, like, is this ever good enough with like these berserker based items, as to where the place to where I feel like I kind of let things go and I kind of let things slip with this build was on the round where we sold the forging hammer. I was like, man, I would probably rather just be building up some more of these leather armors, right? It would be kind of nice to just have access to some more of these, some more of these dragon scale armors, because it feels like the kind of main winner in terms of what Battle Rage is able to do for you. But at the end of the day, I don't think the Dark Lantern was really worth chasing after, right? One of the concepts that I talked about so much playing Legends of Runeterra is the Ron Swanson idea, right? You don't want to half-ass anything, you want to whole-ass one thing. And it feels like we're half-assing a lot of stuff here. We have some of the resurrection themes and some of the food themes and some of the Battle Rage themes, and if it all comes together, then great, that one round when it happens. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to come together too frequently. And so what I think that we maybe could have done with this is the Dark Lantern was probably not the way to go. I think that we probably could have taken the Berserker and then just planned to go for a build around the Phoenix, and then just have the Phoenix be the way that we're out here losing health without just starting, halfway down off of the Dark Lantern. That would have opened us up to picking a different subclass item, probably the Flamebringer, but it's just like a little bit too much going for all of these things, I think, with the Lantern and the Phoenix and the food, and it's just too much. When you say and over and over and over and over again, it's just not enough, right? What you want to be is like the Ranger from 2 builds ago. It's like, what are you doing? Crit. That's it. They're focused in on doing crit things, and that's enough. And so I do think that we were really just out here doing way too much with this build. Otherwise, there are some aspects I think we fucked up. I like the Wolf and Tiger, but it's not that great within this build. And there's just another aspect of this as to where I just haven't learned enough about the game yet to feel like if RNGesus was really fucking us, or if we just took a build that takes too much bag space, right? In the sense that we said like 6 rounds in a row, all we need is a bag, and we would roll and find a panty pack, roll and find a fanny pack, or roll and find a 1-hex bag, and we didn't find these stamina bags until the very end. And I don't know if the RNG was just bad, right? In the sense that we're looking for literally anything to put in our backpack and we just can't find it, or if the sense that we have a build that's too big. Then that if you look at our build, we have a 5-hex chain whip, a 6-hex shield, a 6-hex armor, a awkward 6-hex phoenix, and then a 4-hex wolf and tiger. And so that is like a lot of bag space requirements. And I'm not certain if we just low rolled on the bags and it fucked us, or if we just chose a build that contains too much bag space. And so that's something that'll come with time. I kind of feel like I'm 50-50 on it, in the sense that we went too much bag space with our build here, but also, when we're looking for just anything and we roll 5 gold and miss, roll 5 gold and miss, roll 3 gold and find a fanny pack, like that's just going to burn you at the end of the day, in terms of just spending too much gold on nothing. But nonetheless, good stuff, good learning experience. I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So if everyone enjoyed the video, hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way. You had a good time watching. This is Bastumi. Thank you for being here.